A man's tongue is always the key to his glory or to his ruin.
You believe your enemies stand outside, but your most relentless executioner lives in your mouth. Every careless word is a blade cutting your own destiny. Today I will not speak. Today Machiavelli himself will speak again, and what you will hear may save you or condemn you.
In my time, I saw princes fall not by armies or conspiracies, but by something smaller and far deadlier: their own tongue. The most dangerous weapon is not the sword, it is the reckless word. Block 1. The revelation of anger. You think betrayal comes from spies or sworn enemies, but the truth is crueler. Your most effective enemy lives in your own chest and speaks with your voice. Anger turns your mouth into the blade that pierces you. When fury dominates, a man believes he is showing power. In reality, he is confessing weaknesses he has hidden for years. Anger is poison disguised as strength, and he who gives into it does not punish his adversary. He undresses before him. I witnessed kings, generals, and merchants lose everything, not on the battlefield, but at a banquet, in a council, in a shadowed corridor. One outburst, one word spoken in rage, and their enemies knew where to press, how to wound, what to exploit. Anger is the most effective interrogator. The adversary who provokes you does not need to torture you, does not need to spy. He only watches how, in your fury, you reveal the offenses you never overcame, the wounds you never closed, the insecurities hidden behind the mask of your authority. Your rage does not destroy the other. It destroys your reputation. It makes you predictable. And he who predicts your explosions already possesses the keys to your mind. Those who govern their words govern their destiny. Those who do not become slaves to their own outbursts. I warned of this in my time, and it remains true. He who wishes to be obeyed must first learn to command himself. To master anger does not mean never feeling it. It means transforming it into an invisible weapon. True power does not shout. It whispers. It does not strike hot. It plots in silence. The powerful man processes rage in private and responds only when the response serves his strategy. You believe your outburst is justice, but it is only weakness in disguise. Anger is not strength. It is surrender. Surrender of your mouth, your mind, your control. Do not forget this. The powerful never hand over their fury in public, for they know that every word spoken in rage is an eternal testament to their weakness. Engrave it in your memory and your tongue. My anger obeys me. The day your mouth ceases to serve your rage and begins to serve your strategy, that day you will be invincible. Block 2. The parade of victory. Success is the most dangerous narcotic that exists. It is not drunk in cups. It is inhaled in applause, in flattery, in admiring eyes. And like every drug, it clouds reason and turns those who taste it into their own executioners. I saw it in the palaces of Florence. When a man achieved victory, he immediately destroyed himself. In the corridors of the Signoria, I witnessed generals celebrating too soon, merchants boasting of riches, princes revealing secrets of state in the midst of vanity. Always the same. The more they spoke, the weaker they became. I recall a captain who conquered a city with cunning. He was calculating, silent, and for that reason his triumph had been complete. But at the victory feast, while the musicians played and the wine flowed, he began to recount every detail of his strategy. He revealed the shortcuts he had taken, the traps he had set, the errors of his enemies. He believed he was gaining admiration, but all he was doing was giving lessons to those who would one day replace him. When the next war came, his rivals defeated him with the very weapons he had taught them to forge. So vanity works. It turns the victor into the teacher of his own executioners. The hunger for recognition is more destructive than the hunger for bread, because it does not kill the body, it kills power. Each time you explain how you won, you are dictating a manual to those who wish to see you fall. That is why I always warned princes, mystery protects more than explanation. When I governed Florence as secretary, I never revealed the true extent of my reports, nor my diplomatic maneuvers. The ambassador who speaks too much is devoured by foreign powers. In contrast, he who leaves room for doubt, he who maintains silence even when applauded, becomes an impenetrable wall. Success demands silence. For what today is a tale of glory, tomorrow becomes a map for your defeat. Guard your methods, conceal your paths, let others wonder how you achieved it, and never answer. Mystery preserves power, explanation destroys it. Remember this as a commandment. Silence protects my victories. Block 3. The liquid confession. Wine is more dangerous than the dagger. Not because it wounds the body, but because it opens the mouth. Alcohol invents no new truths. It merely tears down the walls guarding the old ones. And when those walls fall, what lies exposed is the naked soul, ready to be plundered. I learned this in my diplomatic missions, in the taverns of Rome and foreign courts. There I saw men prudent by day turn into babbling fools by night. At the table, with cups of wine, the masks they proudly wore in public fell away. I remember a French ambassador who, after 3 cups too many, revealed to the enemy the names of his secret allies. No need for spies, no need for torture, only the clinking of glasses and the patient smile of those who listened. In Florence, too, I saw a powerful man fall. A respected merchant, owner of ships and contacts in every port. For years, he negotiated in secrecy, weaving networks of influence. But one night of celebration, while drinking without measure, he confessed his debts, his fears, even the names of those who blackmailed him. By dawn, his enemies already held enough information to destroy him. They did so quietly, and he never understood it was his own tongue that ruined him. Such is wine. It turns the prudent into involuntary traitors. And what is revealed amid laughter and song becomes, the next day, sharpened weapons. Every tavern confession ends as rumor, as record, as accusation. What you believe to be release, another archives as a resource against you. That is why I always warned men of power. At feasts, drink less than the others. Listen more than you speak. And never, under any circumstance, allow wine to take command of your mouth. Drunkenness is the adversary's victory without him lifting a finger. The powerful remain sober, even when feigning celebration. For they know that clarity is their best defense, and that the liquid confession is not relief, but a sentence. Engrave it in your tongue. Clarity is my strength. Block 4. The breaking point. Pressure reveals what calm conceals. In tranquil light, all seem strong, calculating, masters of themselves. But when time shortens, when threats approach, when the air fills with rumors and conspiracies, then the soul is stripped and the tongue becomes an impatient traitor. In Florence, I saw more than one man lose everything in such moments. I recall the secretary of a nobleman who, facing impossible deadlines and debts he could not pay, confessed aloud to falsifying documents. He was not before judges nor sworn enemies. He said it in confidence, seeking compassion. But what left his mouth was not comfort. It was his sentence. One listener was enough for his confession to become the rope that hanged him. I myself, in my years of service, saw how those closest to princes fell into this trap. Under conspiracies and wars, they spoke too much, revealed their master's insecurities, the plans not yet ready, the fears of the court. They thought they were unburdening themselves. In reality, they were handing over weapons. The tongue under pressure is more dangerous than steel. When I was imprisoned, after the fall of the Republic, I understood this more clearly. In the damp cells, I saw men collapse within hours. The guards hardly needed to interrogate. The silence of solitude, the fear of torture, the uncertainty of dawn. That was enough for many to unravel and speak without measure. Their words did not free them. They condemned them further. He who remained silent endured. He who spoke dug his grave. Pressure is inevitable. The question is not to avoid it, but to master it. When the weight increases, the wise man hardens, the fool breaks and talks. The first becomes diamond, the second turns to dust. I repeated it to princes. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. And no one fears or respects a man who collapses under pressure. Your enemies await your breaking point, not your strength. Every word of weakness uttered in such a state is their banquet. Turn pressure into your anvil. Forge upon it your silence, your strategy, your endurance. And let nothing escape your mouth, even in the fiercest storm, that could be used against you. Make it your oath. Pressure forges me. Block 5. The extraction of sympathy. The most dangerous predators arrive not with swords nor shouts. They arrive with tears. They look into your eyes, narrate their misfortune, and while your heart opens, your mouth also opens, giving away what you should never reveal. In the courts where I served, I saw this trap played to perfection. There were men who seemed fragile, who told tales of ruin, betrayal, abandonment. The prince, the secretaries, even the soldiers felt compassion. And in that moment, while believing they were helping, they confessed what they had guarded, their doubts, their hidden resources, their secret alliances. I recall a courtier in Florence, weak in appearance, always seeming ill and needy. His greatest talent was neither sword nor calculation. It was acting. He won everyone's trust by recounting his suffering. And in that apparent intimacy, he extracted from each what was most precious. From some, gold. From others, information. From others still, impossible favors. When his work was done, he was no longer a sick man. He was a weaver of networks, master of secrets he used to manipulate half the palace. I saw it too in embassies. In Rome, a cardinal who feigned humility and poverty extracted confessions from foreign diplomats. His stories of loneliness were perfect masks. I watched and understood. He who presents himself as victim may in truth be the fiercest predator. The danger lies not in what they say, but in what you answer. Every detail you share to show empathy, every secret you give to console, is a weapon that tomorrow will be used against you. Your compassion becomes their advantage. That is why I warned always, men are simple and moved by their immediate needs. He who knows how to feign them will always find someone to feed them. Do not be that fool. Do not bare your soul to the beggar who is in truth a disguised wolf. True strength is helping without exposing, giving without confessing, offering a hand without opening the chest. For he who confuses kindness with nakedness ends as prey. Repeat this as a pact with your prudence. I help without exposing myself. Block 6. The market of information. Words travel like coins. Every shared secret, every revealed opinion, every repeated rumor is a transaction. And like all markets, there are winners and there are ruined men. In Florence, palace corridors were not only marble and fresco, they were invisible markets where confidences were traded. I saw how a mere servant, who listened more than he spoke, accumulated so much power in silence that he could destroy or elevate whomever he pleased. He never gave away his own cards, but collected those of others. And when he needed favors or protection, a mere hint of what he knew was enough. Power belonged to him, though he never wore a crown. By contrast, I saw men who could not be silent. To win the friendship of a noble or the sympathy of an ally, they gave away secrets as if they were bread. They spoke what they should not, trusted whom they should not, and soon stood naked in that market, without coin, without respect, without defense. The tongue that betrays others always ends by betraying its owner. In foreign courts, the game was harsher still. The most skilled ambassadors were not those who negotiated most brilliantly in public, but those who listened at private dinners and never revealed anything of their own. Masters in receiving, misers in giving. Thus, supremacy is built in the market of information, by hoarding, not wasting. I learned that in this trade, victory goes not to the brightest, the strongest, or the richest. Victory goes to the most patient, to he who lets others talk until they destroy themselves with their own voice. In that theater, silence is worth more than gold. So I wrote, men live as they are, not as they should be. And indeed, what they should do is remain silent. But since they cannot, they are devoured by those who master the art of listening without exposure. Remember this rule. In every conversation, measure what you give and what you take. If you give more than you take, you are losing. If you take more than you give, you are building power. Engrave it in your tongue. Secrets flow toward me. Block 7. The trap of authority. The common man believes authority wants his defense. He believes if he explains his reasons, justifies his error, proves his innocence, he will be understood. No mistake is more fatal. Power does not want your justification, it wants your obedience. I saw it countless times in Florence's Signoria. Minor officials, reprimanded by princes, answered with long speeches, passionate arguments, endless pleas. They believed they were cleansing their name. In truth, they were confirming what their superiors suspected, that they could not hold silence, could not accept discipline, could not subject their mouth to prudence. Every added word was another nail in their coffin. I myself, as secretary, witnessed those closest to power fall into this trap. I recall a treasurer accused of negligence. He stood to defend himself aloud, listing numbers, explaining minutiae, trying to prove the error was not his. But the more he spoke, the more his desperation was laid bare. The prince did not hear his numbers, he heard his weakness. That weakness was enough to cast him aside, though he may not have been guilty. In my diplomatic missions, I learned power moves not by justice, but by convenience. The justice you claim does not exist in high circles. What matters is the utility you represent, and your defense, far from showing utility, proves only that you cannot endure the inevitable. I wrote it clearly. Politics has nothing to do with morality. What matters is result, not your feelings of fairness. He who seeks to correct a superior with words becomes his enemy. He who responds with obedience and later proves his worth with deeds becomes his indispensable ally. The tongue that seeks justice before authority is a suicidal tongue. The mouth that remains silent and works builds, slowly but surely, a fortress. Remember this maxim. Your results will speak for you. Not your defense, not your complaints, not your shouts, only your deeds. Make it your mandate. My results speak for me. Block 8. The revenge of revelation. When a bond is broken, when betrayal wounds, the heart demands revenge. And the most tempting revenge is the tongue. To reveal the enemy's secrets, expose his weaknesses, destroy his reputation with what he once entrusted to you. It feels like justice, but it is suicide. In Florence, I saw a secretary, expelled by his master, run to palace rivals and pour out every confidence he had heard in years of service. He spoke of intrigues, hidden alliances, private fears. He thought he was punishing his former lord. In truth, he condemned himself. For though his revelations were useful for a time, all understood one essential truth. He who betrays once, betrays always. And no prince desires at his side a man who turns intimacy into a weapon. I also saw a Florentine noble, betrayed by a partner, take the same path. At banquets, he began to release, cup after cup, the darkest secrets of his associate. The court listened, yes, but the more he spoke, the less respect he inspired. For by revealing, he proved that trust in him was danger. He ended isolated, without partners, without friends, without allies. His tongue avenged him and ruined him. I learned that silence is the most powerful revenge, for it preserves weapons for the future. He who reveals everything at once exhausts his ammunition and stands naked. He who keeps silence instead accumulates. And when the time comes, he may use that knowledge not for momentary relief, but for decisive victory. I practiced this myself. When my enemies imprisoned and humiliated me, I held in my hands secrets that could have destroyed them. I remained silent, because I knew that if I spoke, I would become just another traitor, and my reputation forever stained. By keeping silent, I preserved the only wealth they could not take, the perception that Machiavelli could be harsh, could be cunning, but never a vulgar informer. Do not forget this. The secrets you keep strengthen you. The ones you reveal condemn you. Silence outlasts revenge. Make this your oath. My silence is my power. Block 9. The theater of competition. The insecure man always talks too much. He tries to compensate with words for what he lacks in substance. And the more he strives to prove his worth with his tongue, the clearer his fragility becomes. In Florence's palaces, I saw this theater daily. Courtiers, afraid of being unnoticed, filled the halls with endless speeches. They named great families as if intimate friends, quoted philosophers they did not understand, interrupted conversations to display a wit they did not possess. They thought themselves admired. In truth, they provoked concealed smiles, veiled mockery, silent contempt. I remember a young advisor in a meeting with the Council of 10. He allowed no one else to speak. He interrupted constantly, gave his opinion on every matter, explained what others already knew, dressing his words with ridiculous examples. He left convinced he had impressed. But I observed the magistrates' faces. They did not see a sage, they saw a desperate boy. Never again did they take him seriously. I saw the same abroad. Ambassadors, feeling the weight of kingdoms upon their shoulders, compensated with words, over-promising, over-explaining, pretending expertise in everything. They did not see that every word was a mirror of their anxiety. While they performed, the true players sat silent, listened, and recorded their weaknesses. The theater of competition is the cheapest play of all. All see it, few applaud, none respect it. True power does not announce itself. He who possesses knowledge does not need to flaunt it in every phrase. He who is confident in himself does not interrupt, does not adorn, does not seek approval. His very presence suffices. That is why I always affirmed, nothing great is achieved without danger. And the greatest danger is to appear weak while trying to appear strong. He who displays himself with words strips himself of his mystery. He who remains silent and lets deeds speak becomes unbreakable. Make it your rule. My acts speak, my words wait. Block 10. The prison of promises. There is no crueler prison than the one built by your own tongue. Promises are the bars of that cell. Under pressure, under fear, under demand, men utter words their reality cannot sustain. They believe they buy time, but what they truly do is mortgage their credibility. In Florence, I saw princes and merchants promise impossible alliances, riches they did not possess, armies not yet assembled. In the moment, they seemed victorious. They calmed crowds, reassured allies, deceived enemies. But time always collects. And when the day came to fulfill, the lie was revealed, and their prestige collapsed forever. I recall a nobleman besieged in his palace by debts and enemies. He promised gold for aid. Gold he never had. Soldiers rallied, friends aligned, allies committed, until they discovered the fraud. From that day, his word lost all value. And when a man loses the value of his word, he loses everything. His pleas went unheard, his proposals untrusted. He died surrounded by the mistrust he himself had sown. The same in Rome. Clergymen and cardinals, desperate for favors, swore more than they could fulfill. One cardinal in particular promised support to 3 different factions in the same matter. He gained smiles, gained time, gained influence for a moment. But when truth came due, all saw his duplicity. No one trusted him again. He was condemned not for lack of power, but for excess of words. Empty promises are like foundations of mud. They sink at the first weight. I wrote it. He who builds on the people builds on mud. And so it is with promises. What seems solid today dissolves tomorrow between your fingers. The true strategist promises little and delivers much. He speaks less than he will do and astonishes by exceeding expectation. Thus his name is clad in reliability, and every word he utters turns to iron. Remember this maxim. He who promises too much loses all. He who delivers more than he promises gains all. Make it your oath. I promise little, I deliver much. Final conclusion. Your enemy does not need to invent accusations against you. He needs no spies, no secret documents. He only needs to wait. For sooner or later your mouth will speak too much, and hand him all he requires to destroy you. The 10 traps you have heard are not rare exceptions. They are daily bread. They unfold in taverns and palaces, in battles and marriages, in war councils and dinners among friends. And in everyone, the foolish man becomes his own executioner. I learned it by observing the powerful of my time. The most cunning were not those who spoke best, but those who knew how to keep silence. The strongest were not those who shouted their victories, but those who wrapped them in mystery. The most feared were not those who promised, but those who delivered in silence. True power is measured in the discipline of the tongue. For every word you speak can become chain or sword, and every silence you keep can save your life or grant you victory. Remember this: in the eternal game of power, the mouth is your greatest ally or your worst enemy. He who governs his tongue governs his destiny. He who does not becomes slave to his own words. Ask yourself then, will you continue to feed your enemies with your voice? Or will you master the art of silence at the right moment? Will you be master of your words or victim of them? The world is not filled with silent, prudent men. It is filled with open mouths, reckless tongues, overflowing vanities. And amid that noise, he who knows how to be silent becomes king. Engrave it in your memory. Silence is power. Silence is protection. Silence is the wall no one can climb. Make your tongue a weapon, not a weakness. And you will understand what I saw in history: that empires fall by reckless words, and that the truly invincible men are not those who speak most, but those who know when to say nothing.